All right, here with my very good friend Jeff Mayweather. Thank you for taking the time, sir. Appreciate you allowing me to talk to you once again. All right, well, fight's almost here. We have Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Press conference today, pretty straightforward for the first 45 minutes or so. It got a little crazy at the end. But do you think we will see anything different than we've seen basically for the last 20 rounds where, you know, with the exception of a couple rounds, it's been mostly Tyson Fury?
Well, I mean, of course, Wilder has an equalizer that nobody else has in boxing. So Wilder, you can never say doesn't have a chance. But at the same time, I think that Wilder needed a tune-up fight. And he looks great on YouTube with the new stuff that he's doing. But at the same time, he hasn't did it in the ring under the lights where people are cheering and things and all the other stuff that goes on in a real fight. But I mean, because he may have been doing it in inspiring, but it's not the same.
Is that equalizer really his only chance, considering that, you know, other than, you know, a couple knockdowns that Fury's dominated him the entire time?
Well, I mean, the first fight, I actually thought that Wilder won that fight easily and clean. I thought that he won that fight, but he just didn't get it. So, to me, they're 1-1. I'm being honest, to me, they're 1-1. So, this fight does need to happen.
Today we saw for the most, well, the second press conference we saw Wilder was, you know, pretty animated and vocal the entire time. This one, up in... All right, well, yeah, so Wilder in the first, in the press conference for the second fight was more vocal, animated, and, you know, in Fury's face. This one he was pretty quiet the entire time up until the end where him and Fury's challenge finally started engaging in a war of words. Do you think you know, he's trying to change the tone from the second fight where obviously he didn't get the better of it?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's about that. I just think that, I think that in the beginning, Wilder was more or less just trying to be relaxed and just trying to focus, you know, and of course, I'm sure he's picturing the outcome of this fight in his head, you know, probably over 1,000 different times. He's probably said, okay, this is going to happen, or this is going to happen. And a lot of fighters go through that. And so, I mean, I've been there, so I know exactly what he's probably going through. But at the same time, you know, I think that it's getting closer, he's getting antsy, and all he wants to do now is get in the ring.
So, you know, he accused, obviously, Fury of cheating. He had some other reasons, you know, whether it was his corner, whether it was his costume, that kind of thing. Do you think these are things that Wilder needs to convince himself of in order to go in the third fight in a good place and come up victorious?
Well, I mean, I think that shit don't matter because if that happens...
Psychologically, yeah.
I think psychologically that shit don't matter. Still don't matter. Because at the end of the day, you know, the one thing is this, is that fight is over with. So it's over. So ain't no sense of talking about it no more. Ain't no sense of even thinking about it, really. Only thing you need to be thinking on is a strategy how to win. You know, and I think that everybody know Wilder has a chance. He has a puncher's chance against anybody. But, you know, skill for skill. And like I said, maybe the new stuff that he's been doing on YouTube, it looks impressive, but he's hitting pads. Anybody can look good hitting pads.
Even me.
Yeah. Nah, everybody except you. I ain't gonna give you no damn credit for that. But I think that I think that he needed a tune-up fight to actually, all this new stuff that he's doing, to do it inside the ring where people are actually in there cheering for him or cheering against him or whatever. Just he needs to be that fight. He needed to have a tune-up fight, I think, to actually know that consciously the new stuff that he's been working on will work for him. Because I think that in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the battle, he's gonna revert back to what he knows best, and that's his big right hand.
If we see more of the same, you know, considering how impressive Wilder was, beginning his career, all the knockouts, world title, all that kind of thing, if we see more of the same that we did in the second fight and this fight, But this time, there's no no reasons, no excuses. Do you think that's damaging to Wilder's legacy?
Well, I mean, losing damages everybody's legacy. So, I mean, in this fight, of course, it may damage his legacy even more because of the fact is that if he has a bunch of made up excuses like he did last time, yes, it's definitely going to taint everything that he's accomplished. But if he accepts it and if he really loses and he just accepts it like a man, I think that I'll be forgiven.
Well, who do you favor? A couple days away now.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of like everyone else. If it's a knockout, of course it's going to be Wilder. If it's going to be a decision, it's going to be Tyson. But, I mean, I lean slightly toward Tyson because Tyson has more.
Tyson knocked him out last fight.
Tyson has more. Can I fucking talk?
Oh, you were just
well, I don't give a
not
fuck.
making sense.
Can I fucking talk, though? Shit. Let me get my fucking train of thought.
So you act like Tyson can't knock him out when you just did.
No, I didn't. No, but he didn't beat fucking Wilder. He didn't beat Wilder in the way that, I mean, to me, he out-strategized Wilder. He beat him on strategy. He didn't beat him on necessarily that because he was better or anything. He used a great strategy and that shit worked for him.
Looks like he beat him up pretty good to me.
Yeah, I didn't say he didn't fucking beat him. Of course he beat him. If he fucking stopped him, he had to beat him.
But he can only win by decision this fight.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that he's not a better fucking puncher than goddamn Wilder is. That's what I'm saying. So I'm fucking saying is that if there's gonna be a knockout, I would lean toward Wilder. If it's gonna be, just like I said, the first fight, I thought fucking Wilder won clearly. You don't think he won, but I do. So, I mean, to me, this fight right here needs to happen. And like I said, and I just hope that, if Wilder can show up and do the shit that he's doing on his YouTube, maybe he has a chance. But if he don't, I think that Tyson Fury has too much ability, and too much size. And if he doesn't box, I think he has no chance at all because it's going to be the exact same fight that we seen in the last fight.
All right, well, you still sound bitter, Jeff, but I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
I'll sound bitter.